shit has been the bomb for me. Welcome to this week's edition of the Bro Show, episode 14. Tonight we have Sequence, we have Red Setter Farms, we have Abolished Farms, we have Old Man Hermit Hash, Eagle Garden, and Spartan Grown, and I am Skillbone One. Welcome to the show. What's happening, fellas?
What is up, guys? What is up, chat? We got nutrient shout-outs already in the chat. Dankman Dan, good afternoon. Good
Shootouts, god damn it.
Shootouts. Someone shoot me. I'm going away.
Members, it's shooter.
You made it. You made it 1 minute into the show without a typo. That's a new record. Damn, we ran him out of town. So what's going on? Here we are, and then there were 6. Spartan, you have to explain the headgear to the people in the chat and the viewers.
Oh, I was at the mall today, and we went past one of those Halloween stores, and I saw the wizard hat. They actually call it the Gandalf hat, so I had to have it to go with the pipe. So
got to go with the pipe.
It was only like $15 or something. I said, I'm going to splurge.
Make me go get my crown out in a minute.
You look good in it. I like that crown, man.
I worked at a Halloween store a few years ago with my kid, dude. It was a blast. So all those props and shit, you get those great discounts. Oh yeah, we did nothing but fuck around and play for like 4 or 5 hours a day at work. Good times.
Oh yeah, that was like us as kids. We'd always beat the hell out of each other with the fake swords and stuff.
Oh man, those swords have come a long way. I got some really big, thick wooden ones that I used for like what the hell was it? It was like a Roman centurion costume, man. But it's, like total badass. You could really fuck somebody's night up with it. All right. So, Red, introduce yourself.
What's going on tonight, everybody? I'm Red Setter Farm. You can find me on Instagram at Red Setter Farm. I'm a caregiver and patient here in the wonderful state of Michigan and can't wait to get going in tonight's topics. Cheers, everybody.
Next up, we have Abolished Farms.
Abolished, you're muted.
Can't hear me?
Yep, now we can.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. What's going on, nerds? Abolished here. Looks like we got our normal diehards out here, like nutrient shootouts. You gotta remember, like, it's Shooter's Tour, every time you see him. But other than that, I'm doing pretty good. Doing great. Given the first real hard go at autoflowers, and it's going really good. I'm pretty impressed right now, but we'll see. It's all what happens at the end.
Who's next on your list, Scobo?
Next on my list is Old Man Hermit Hash.
Hey, everybody. Old Man Hermit Hash here. Wrapped up that outdoor, wrapped up that indoor, and I'm like really looking forward to doing a bunch of stuff. I mean, I don't know. I don't like to just skip on the next things, but I'm, Abolished was just talking about autoflowers. It's exactly the track I'm gonna take in prep for next year, outdoor. So I want to do some practice. I've never grown an autoflower ever, so that'll be cool. I have some from Morningstar Seed Company. Looking forward to popping a few. Yeah, I don't know, man. I've got a lot going on. I built 15 or 20 by 7 scrog net today in my shop. Stuff like that. I'm just like doing stuff,
I'll have to see some pictures of that.
I have some. I took some because I knew you guys might want to see it in chat. It's kind of cool.
Hell yeah. Next up, we have Eagle Gardens. Eagle, how you doing tonight, brother?
Pretty good, thanks. Eagle Gardens 1, you can find me on Instagram, YouTube. Currently working on a few YouTube series, the Pine Valley series from GMXOG, the Pine Valleys Grow, and upcoming Mars Tent Grow. Looking forward to that as well. Happy to be on the show this week.
Next up, we've already kind of hit on him, but we're going to come back to Spartan Grown. We'd had to definitely discuss. Just look at the screen. Just look at him right there. Look at him chilling with the pipe and the hat. It looks like he should be on like an old Led Zeppelin fucking album cover or something.
You know what's funny is I actually thought, I don't want to interrupt you, Spartan, but before you talk, real quick, I was walking through the store, the classy Walmart that we got in town, and I was like, I really need a costume for the show, and you beat me to it. So props to you. All right, go ahead, man.
I just hope I'm not premature, but it was really, I got a shout out to Abolished. I think he was the one that gave me the idea. I think he sent me a DM and said I had to get a wizard hat. So I put the idea in my head. So as soon as I walked past that store, I was like, no, I'm not walking all the way past. I'm going in. So, but yeah, anybody can find me on Instagram, Spartan Grown, or you can, or my work's Instagram's Mint Canico. Shout out to Mint Canico and the whole crew. We had some really good results. Our second run past everything and came in with really high results, in my opinion. And so I was blown away. It was like the best news. So still kind of riding high on that. I can actually, did I write it down? I can actually, I know the some of the places where our flower is going to be dropped. It might be a while before, because here's a kind of a good inside information. We send it bulk, so when it goes to a dispensary, they package it. Getting our own packaging might be something we do in the future, but right now, it's just you just drop off bulk flour. So it might take a while for it to actually hit the shelves. You know, they got to get that work done. But I know we're going to have some in Portage, which is right by Kalamazoo. We're going to have some in Jackson at 20 after 4, but that place is not even open yet. So we're holding on to that for them. There's going to be places in Ann Arbor, Arbor Wellness, and there was another one. And one called Bloom. I think that was the one. That was the other one in Ann Arbor, Bloom City Club or something. And then in Lansing, there is a, what was that one? Something Pure. But I think I got them written down here, so I'm going to look it up because, yeah, here we go. We got Arbor Wellness in Ann Arbor, Lake Effect in Portage, Bloom something in Ann Arbor, 20 after 4 in Jackson, and Pure Options in Lansing. So those would be the 4 places you can find the Han Solo Burger. We got the tests on our Instagram if you guys want to check them out.
The results on that were really good. There's like 32% total cannabinoids or something like that, and 27% THC.
Yeah, yep, yeah. They came in super, super nice, and kind of surprised me because when I smoked it, well, I mean, we do share between quite a few people, but I didn't find it to be super, super stony, but super thrilled with the results. That's for sure.
And last but not least, we have Kate. Welcome, Kate. Eyebrows doing the talking for you while you're on mute.
There, sorry, I was trying to unmute it so I don't have to hold down the space bar the whole time. How's it going? You can find me on Instagram at the Kate. And I don't know what we're supposed to be talking about right now. I missed the first part. But when you said that Eagle or the Spartan had that hat on, I didn't have my full screen up. And then when I went to it, that was a really pleasant treat. So I appreciate the hat tonight, Spartan. I'm also trying to roll a blunt because I haven't smoked yet today. So I seem to get right before I talk a whole lot.
Definitely.
Is there anything on anybody's mind that they want to talk about as kind of an opening topic that we jump into the show?
I was actually going to ask Spartan real quick before we got too off it. Do you have a date on the release at those dispensaries? Because I want to go down to Arbor Wellness and try it.
You know, I can. Let's see, what is today? Sunday. I'm pretty sure most all of that will be out of there by tomorrow, by the end of tomorrow. So as far as, I don't know how fast that they're going to work, you know what I mean, to package it, because I'm sure they'll prepackage it in 8ths or something like that. But, I would expect by Friday for sure you should be able to get it. But hell, if they're quick, maybe you could get it Monday or Tuesday. I wouldn't expect Monday, maybe Tuesday at the earliest would be my opinion, but I have zero experience in that. So, I mean, it's just me guessing.
Yeah, and they may let it out on shelves as they package it. Who knows?
Yeah, fill me in when you do. I'm more than happy. I need to go to Bloom anyway and stock up on some Synergy CBD. I like the Synergy because it's got added terpenes in it. So Bloom's the place. And if I don't have to make 2 trips, man, I'm definitely grabbing some of that Han Solo burger before it runs out. So
Yeah, it'd be
it'll
pretty
out
cool.
before you.
Yeah, like if next week, if we all had a little taste test or taste buds right here on the show of it.
That would be cool. That'd be really cool. You know, it's good. I mean, it's good flour. It's got GMO background. That's one of the parents that thinks GMO. So you're gonna get a little garlicky in it with it too, but it's just a little funkier. It's actually for me because I don't like the strong garlic terps. It's actually more pleasant to me than smoking the GMO. But I feel the I can't even talk. The GMO hits me way stronger for some reason. That one, I won't even be surprised if that one comes back at a lower percentage, but I'm the one sitting here telling everybody it's going to hit them harder. So, but to me, my own personal chemistry or whatever it is, that GMO hits harder, and that'll be our next harvest.
Well, and it might even still. I've had plants that tested lower that seem to hit me harder. I just smoked some 19% Mac that hit me like a truck, and I couldn't believe it.
Man, the Mac smells so good right now in flower. It's just like I don't know. It started out, it was more like a funky rotten berries, but the rottenness went away. And now it's just sweetening up, and it's so good smelling every time. But I haven't yet been able to smoke the Mac, so it'll be a pleasure, I think, to smoke it. What did you think on the smoke as far as flavors and stuff that you pull out of it?
I wouldn't say that it had a unique flavor, but the buzz was very unique. I would smoke it as a daytime smoke anytime. I really love that.
Did you happen to see the High Times centerfold of the Mac, and then they had a little description in there? Oh my God, I was reading it, and I was just laughing the whole time I'm reading it. I was like, this is nothing like what we're growing. And then the picture, I was like, what the hell is this? And it made me doubt a little bit. Well, hey, maybe we didn't get that Mac 1 cut. Maybe it was something else or whatever. And then Capulator put up on his Instagram feed the meme of it was like what my Mac 1 cut and then High Times version of the Mac 1 cut, and it was like this is a funny
It's totally different.
Yeah, just totally it was hilarious. But so that made me feel better. I'm like, okay, we probably have the real deal thing. So
Well, it's hard to know with like phenotypic expression, right? It might be a little bit different in your room, and maybe it does look a little different or whatever.
the differences they were saying were like they were saying it smelled almost offensive and that it was like garlic and something else, and I'm like, I haven't smelled anything near that. What the hell are they talking about? So I don't know. I lost more respect for High Times.
Sorry, I just had to go explain to my kid who all the men in the basement were, because I'm in my basement right now and my room was open. So the sound was like traveling up to the floor and then into their room. So my one came upstairs and she's like, Mommy, who are all the men in the basement with you? Like, no, it's just the computer.
Oh, great. Now she's
Trap guys down there.
Now she's going to be telling the neighbor, yeah, Mommy has lots of men in her basement.
Only really late on Sunday.
Yeah, every Sunday night, Mommy has a bunch of boys in the basement. Perfect.
Red, what's going on in your land? I know you have a very scheduled grow and you're always fighting against the clock. So what are you fighting this week?
Oh, you caught me right as I was coughing. Let's see here. This week I'm doing some cleaning. Reservoir cleaning, bucket cleaning, pump cleaning, cloner cleaning, getting a new round of clones going. I swapped my last round of clones into their new shoes, which are easy swap pots, which I have a little one right here to show off. This is a little solo cup version, but I went into half gallons. They're doing good so far. They've been in there for a couple of days, and everything looks great. Everything looks fantastic, as a matter of fact. So right now I'm cleaning up and getting ready for round 2. A lot of bleaching, and I can feel it and smell it all over me right now. So it definitely smells like some cleaning's been going on in this place. So that's about what's happening in here.
In our in our pre-show, we talked a little bit about some of the different cleaning methods that you were trying. So did you want to go into them a little bit? We're running some of the same automated systems, and cleaning the tubing and stuff like that can be kind of a hassle. And I thought you had kind of an interesting idea there.
Yeah. So if you're running some type of like clean res or H2O2 or some type of a solution, what you can do is you can rig up maybe like a garbage can or some type of a tote with a sealed lid or something that's not really going to splash out, and you can hook it up basically the same way as if you were running your res to your drip lines and everything. Just kind of have a pump inside of this tank that has a volume of cleaning solution in it, and then just run that into your drip lines and just keep everything contained, and let your drip lines blow out, and just kind of let that container be your cleaning medium. You know, if you got any leak issues, put a tarp down or something to make sure that you have that pump on and off when that lid's, you know, sealed and stuff. You don't want to get H2O2 or bleach all over your room or anything like that. But what I do is I get down and I scrub out my reservoirs, and I use a mild bleach cleaning solution and make sure I rinse it out real good. And then after it's all rinsed out real good, I also let it air dry. It's real important. That way, if there's any residues, it can evaporate, and then a thorough rinsing is just the important part. But yeah, cloner, everything got good and clean today. That's the way to do it.
Awesome.
We reset at work after a harvest. We don't have a res per se that sits filled. We have a conical res, so you know it's sloped at the bottom, and it'll get every last drop out every time. But we just run a res full of the cleaner. We use Zertol, but and we just run that on the table. The table's already cleaned, and all the drip lines are just sitting on the table. So they just spray all over the table and get the table completely covered with the Zertol too. And we wait for it to dry, and then we can go back through and rinse it off.
Cool. Good idea.
Yeah, and if you're running cloners or anything like that, you know, get yourself if you're running clone domes, get yourself new clone lids, things like that. Just replace those. And also, if you're running air stones in some type of oxycloner situation, make sure you're changing out your air stones. Don't run them twice. The lids, you might be able to get away with running twice, but even still, I'd suggest some things are just kind of consumable in this industry. And when you're dealing with bacteria and microbials and things like that, all that stuff can affect the growth rates and how sanitary it is inside of those containers. You'll have great results as long as it's clean. So
well, let me jump in right behind you with that, and let's put some numbers to this. You can go buy a brand new clone dome for $7. So to me, in my thinking, if you have genetics worth saving, it's probably worth $7 to you, man. Don't cheap out on the shit. Air stones, they can harbor a lot of bacteria. And I've seen that you can do different methods in the past. I've seen videos where people use H2O2 and they, run the hoses and everything in there, and they run it for 24 hours and hope that it gets it out. But again, is it worth it to you? Is it worth, because it's probably $7 for that, So don't fuck your girl up over some cheap money that is, less than a gram.
Yeah, in your airlines, replace that stuff too. That stuff's cheap by the foot. You get 100-foot roll of it and just reuse it every run. Replace your airline, 1/2-inch tubing, do the same stuff.
Is it the Black Randy's? Is that what you use?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably Hydrofarm. Yeah, that stuff. Yep.
Tell you what, I reuse air stones, but I don't know. I don't like throwing them away. If you a cool tip is that after you use your air stone for even a compost tea or something that's getting funky, instead of taking them out and letting them dry and letting all that stuff get just dried on there, it's gross. Have another little small bucket of water, right? Clean water. Take them out of whatever you're doing, compost tea or whatever you're aerating, and put them in that bucket of straight water and just let them bubble away for a little while. They clean themselves.
Also, the other way you can do it is to literally take those out of the bucket and let them sit on something like a clean tray, and just leave the air running so that it's literally blowing all of the bullshit out of them until they're dry, and then you can clean them afterwards. I don't know.
Yeah,
There's
I
ways.
poured a little bit of H2O2 on them also, just not even anything fancy from the grow shop, just the old 3% you got sitting in your medicine cabinet. I've done that before.
I wonder if H2O2 in the clean bucket of water, like you're talking about, Spartan, that's probably a really good mixture to use for that.
Yeah, the H2O2, 29%.
I've kind of gotten away from compost teas anyway, so I'm not really using them anymore. But yeah, I would do that. I've got H2. I've got the strong stuff.
Well, I just know that the air stones are like the perfect physical structure for like harboring all of the bad shit that you wouldn't want. It's like a sponge basically. So
if it's anaerobic, but if it's dry, it's aerobic. And if you're getting bacteria, then that's kind of what you're doing in the compost. You're trying to get bacteria. That's one of the microbes. So usually the aerobic, I mean, this is very basic, but usually the aerobic stuff is usually good. So, I mean, as long as you let them dry out, I think you're good. I mean, after you could take them out of that bucket with the water and hydrogen peroxide and then just let them dry out. And if they get some bacteria, cool. Awesome.
I always put a little bit of peroxide in my cloner, 5 mils per gallon, to help keep the pathogens out.
Use Res Clear in the cloner.
I refuse to use those damn cloners. I'm using cubes.
I don't like them either. I like the cubes a lot more. I prefer the control, and I don't lose power and lose clones and stuff like that. We just had a funny comment in chat, so I wanted to put it in audio really quick. Nutrient shootouts, look at me, said, quote, and just skeet everything right out, talking about cleaning out their hoses. And I was just laughing.
Yeah, I saw that too.
We got to put that one in the eons, so there we go.
Okay, I'm gonna sound like an idiot. Where do you see the chat? I can't be the only person that's
on YouTube.
Oh shit! All right, that makes sense.
So yeah, you're gonna open YouTube, but then you have to mute your YouTube, otherwise it's gonna play through your speakers and screw everything up. And then
you gotta have entirely 2 full setups, sorta. It's a complicated show.
It's honestly really tough. Like that's why old man struggles so much. He's probably got 3 cell phones over there working this right now.
It's crazy. It's crazy over here.
And 2 of them are flip phones. One's a slide out.
Right. Well, I've got a QWERTY keyboard on one phone, and then the other one's for the Wi-Fi for the one with the QWERTY keyboard. No, I'm just kidding. That's all.
Then the one's the burner that's on the prepaid minutes.
Right. I got 3 burners, and gotta have those.
Well, I thought that's kind of an interesting topic. How does everybody set up their screens here? I usually just split it down the middle, and so I have one app, the Zoom app, over here with everybody's screen, and I have it in the gallery so I can see everybody all the time. And then what I do is I go to YouTube, just pop out the chat, and I just close down the whole browser so I have just the chat up. I don't even look at the YouTube video. Is that what you guys have been doing?
I got you all beat.
That's what I'm doing right now, is trying to look at my phone and make sure I'm staying up with the chat, man. So, and I'm stoned over here.
Oh, see, I don't roll full screen. I have a split screen, so I've got Zoom on one side and the chat on the other side. It's all on one screen for me.
So my Zoom is full screen on 24 inches over here on this side. And sometimes it's partial screen, so I can look at your guys' Instagrams, or if we're talking to a guest, I do that same thing. And then I got another 24-inch screen that's got the YouTube and the chat on there. So that's how I'm rolling.
You got the good video card. You got the dual screens.
I think I could do 4. I just don't have 4 screens. Somebody send me some screens.
I think that's I think that's how GML his setup, because I think he's got 4 screens. You can only see him from the back when he's doing his episodes.
My brain stopped because I was trying to think of clever, appropriate jokes for what you said.
I was just looking at the confused look on Kate's face, and I thought maybe she's on Discord.
When you guys were like, I have this screen over here and this setup here and another one so I can look at Instagram, I was seriously I'm just happy to be here. I don't know what the fuck. No, now I'm trying to make it so that I can see all of you on Discord, whatever, Zoom. Is that what we're on right now?
Yep.
I can't do it.
Zoom.
Yeah,
I still only have 4 people on my phone screen. It's ridiculous. So then I have my wife's laptop open so I can see everybody's delayed reactions and work, like with the volume off. I'm gonna grow up one day, be a big boy. I'm gonna get some shit. I swear to God, it's gonna happen.
So which one of us are you looking at most of the time?
Well, I got Red and Spartan and Skillbow right now, and then if I swipe the screen, then I'll have everybody else. But then in the YouTube here, right in front of me, though, also I see everybody, but with like a 7 or 8 second delay, so it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, right? Whatever.
Yeah, people don't realize how fucking, by the seat of your ass that you do this show. Like, really, you know what I mean? Like, we have man down issues, connection issues, and fucking staccato verse issues, and everything else, man.
Spartan's even lighting his bowl like Gandalf. He's using a hemp wick.
Okay, I'm on YouTube right now and I don't see the fucking live chat.
Oh, you gotta go to the show channel, and then there's a little live, it says live show, and then you click that one.
Jesus Christ.
I put a link to the chat or to the show in our chat on Zoom.
Doing the hard work, the Lord's work.
Chat on Zoom? What the fuck?
Oh man, you're getting all confused now. What are you doing, man?
I did add another chat.
Earlier you were like, do you have Google Plus or whatever the fuck? Google Hangouts? I don't know. I'm like 90 in technological years.
So yeah, in the Zoom, if you're looking in Zoom where our videos are, towards the bottom there's a little icon with a chat bubble. If you click on that, you can see where he dropped a link that will take you to the YouTube playing of this, but it's going to be a little bit delayed. But you'll be able to see chat.
Chat's awesome. We got some awesome people that follow the show. They're here like every week. Nutrient shootouts. We got Dankman Dan's always here. Baked Pawn's always here. Tara's always here.
Okay, it just tried to open that in Microsoft Edge to give you an idea of how often I use my computer.
Yeah, I definitely don't recommend that program.
Not at all.
Yeah, speaking of chat, we had a question, and it sounds like maybe something we should do for some of our new viewers that have came on the last few weeks. He was wondering what everybody's like, just a brief, overview of your grow technique, your style, like what you do. Like he's not sure. He's just getting to know all of us.
Yeah, that's great. Let's do it real quick. I'll go first. I grow using LEDs and cocoa and synthetic nutrients. I water every day. My veg is all hand watered, and my flower now is automated.
I'll go next. I grow in organics. I mix my own soil. I grow in a 4x8 bed in flower. And before that, I use fabric pots. I use LED in veg, and I use a combination of LED and 400 and 600 watt hoods in flower.
And I do regenerative style growing in wicking beds with that are cocoa based. I don't use peat. That's simple way to explain the way I do things.
And you're using LED too, right?
Yeah, basically all LED minus one 315 CMH because I believe UV doesn't have enough. LED doesn't have enough UV, for the end of flower for the frost that I want.
Definitely. Who else?
Red, I think you're up, yeah?
You could go, old man, if you want to.
Okay. I grow in amended soil, fabric pots, organic nutrients, but I'm still really evolving with this whole thing and have a whole lot of other ideas that I'd really like to get to. I don't know. I don't have any solid style. I would say that for sure. I don't have any solid program necessarily. I mean, I have a base nutrients that I use. I use BioBiz nutrients. I use LEDs in veg and double-ended HPS in flour. That's pretty much it.
I'm gonna say, and you guys are gonna laugh about this. We're gonna meet for the Thanksgiving. Somebody say it real quick. Old man, you say it.
Flanks Gimbing.
Our Flanks Genbing meetup thing. You guys are gonna see old man's insane collection of plastic bottles.
No, I'm hiding those, dude. No one else, I wouldn't have that at a gathering. I mean, I don't know. We'll see.
He's got like half bottles of every different line you could ever test.
You gotta add it to the gravy.
Yep. I do really
The
like
gravy.
I really do like to have a diverse, a low amount of a more diverse nutrient or microbes and all of it. I like to have less of a more diverse lineup.
Diversity's king. You got a lot of it.
The advanced nutrient strategy.
So many that sometimes it's a total fail. I don't know. We'll figure it out someday.
Actually, I thought it was pretty cool when I was over that one time, and I was saying, "Oh, or there's this product," and you're like, "Yeah, I got some," and I was like, "Well, or there's this product." He goes, "Yeah, I got that here too." I'm like, "Well, shit, dude, you're all hooked up."
I permanently can't make up my mind about anything. That's the issue.
Yeah, that is true. Old man's wife always tells me thank you when I'm leaving because I talk him down from the cliff. Like he's always debating some crazy decision in his head about something that's very simple, of course. And she's always like, "Thank you for coming over," and giving him this mental hug and talking him out of this thing.
It's true. I like to call it apocalyptic thinking. Like it's just the way my brain works.
Dude, I'm stoked, man. The 9th can't get here soon enough. It's really going to be a fucking great time.
We are super pumped to host everybody too. It's going to be super cool.
We shall coordinate. Miss Cantaloupe is really excited about helping coordinate this thing and get together and figure out what all we should bring so we have some sort of food to eat, and then everyone should bring cannabis so we can smoke.
Yeah.
She'll be over to help you decorate, old man. Don't worry.
My wife suggested maybe she gets everybody's email and does a Google document with a spreadsheet and all this shit, because she does that stuff. She's
Dude, that's the smart way to do it. Really, it is.
Let's get on it.
I don't know if anybody's really going to be into that, but if you guys are, she would do that. I don't know.
I hate.
You got to work. You got to work with the host, man. You got to work with the hosts.
Well, I'm thinking, if everybody brings a green bean casserole,
then it'll be green bean casserole heaven for somebody, and green bean casserole hell for others.
If I get high enough, I'll eat about anything.
Carpet lint included.
And I'm sure I'll be high enough.
I'll eat anything twice.
Dude, if we get Spartan high enough, he's just going to be able to sift through that beard to pull out some crummage, man, and come back through for seconds.
No, that's all taken up. That's where I hide the predator mites.
Do you guys wear? Do they have you wear like a hairnet for your beard at work?
They're called beard nets. Yeah, we got them. Usually during harvest or anytime I'm working on a flowering plant.
I love that Red's laughing. They're called beard nets.
I figured that's how I got his free predators that just going to work. Oh, I got to check this one out.
Yeah. Well, it is funny seeing me in one of those beard nets because it's like, I don't know, you can tell that the beard net's pretty much given up. So
you got to selfie that and put it in our chat.
I second that.
Because I can read the chat now, Dan or Dinkman Dan, I run Nectar too, and it is the shit. Or that's what I'm doing right now. I've done one flower cycle with it, and I love everything I got off of it. So I'm gonna do it again the next round. But I'm debating switching into cocoa because I overwater.
Nectar looks really, really good, and I would recommend cocoa if you do overwater. It's really forgiving that way. We had a question from.
I use the one shot, so it's super, like watering for me is super easy because it's usually water only. Like I'll put, I fucking put recharge in there, sometimes in like some other random shit, but like yeah, it's like watering is super easy. So it's one of the things that I'm like, ooh, drink baby, like mama loves you, and then I'm like, oh, I killed you, like what was that movie, like Tommy Boy or whatever? Like I killed my little pet. That's me with my weed plants and water.
I mean, I think that's the struggle that most growers have when they start growing and they don't even realize that it's a watering issue. So you're one step ahead in that way. I've tackled or ran into that, especially in soil.
And the guy who makes nectar for the gods, I believe he grows in cocoa. So you probably do real well with that.
Yeah, Kate, when you're ready to switch your recipe, I've ran that before in Coco Loco. It does great. That's what I did before Bad Bunny, actually.
Cool. Yeah, like I picked up nectar because Wee Woo recommended it. Like Scapegoat Genetics, and like I fucking love everything that he does. He's like a great dude. And then one of my like Instagram buddies, Ghost Breath. So shout out to him too. Has been kind of like, I don't want to say like talking it up, but like he sent me the Nectar Grow Bible and shit. So I'm like on page 8 of that right now. That's the other thing I use my computer for. So yeah, I'll have to pick your brain, Abolished, because if you've done the same thing, I'm sure you got good tips.
We had a question from the chat. Well, did everyone talk about their grow style, or did we miss anyone?
I didn't say anything. Red didn't say anything.
All right, let's do that.
I can run through mine real quick. I grow a lot of the different ways, actually. My home grow is mostly organic and sip containers. I'm actually testing the same thing with Abolish with the cocoa, an organic cocoa grow, and that's autoflowers right now. But my other stuff is regular photo period. And then at work, we grow synthetically. We use Royal Gold cocoa. We use cannabis newts, and then we use a few different additives. Power size silica is one of them. I think a couple of the other additives like PK and what was the other one? There's another canna. I don't know. I'm too high to remember. But and we use recharge usually about, I think it's about once a week. We use recharge on earlier plants, not really late into flower or anything. We don't use it then. So yeah, we got all different styles.
I just picked up some recharge, so I'm looking forward to that. I use Tribus right now. Let's see, I guess while I got the microphone, I'm typically indoors a hydroponic grower. I grow with Jax. It's a dry salt hydroponic fertilizer. I grow under HPS, double-ended HPS by Nanolux in bloom. I also veg under metal halides, and I veg under T5s. So kind of a wide array spectrum of lighting. I look forward to starting some LEDs in my propagation eventually in the near future. So hopefully follow along, and that'll be coming up real soon. I also grow outdoors in the summertime, and when I do that, that's a no-till environment. I don't run any salts outdoor, and I'm very eager to learn more about the soil food web. So that's pretty much me in a nutshell and how I grow. I also indoors, I do run a little bit higher of a humidity. I keep my VPD up, keep my temperatures up a lot higher, my airflow up a lot higher, and that way I'm able to mitigate any pathogens that way. So you guys feel free to chat about any of those kind of topics.
Eagle, are you down there, my friend? Can't see his video, so I don't know if he's here. I imagine he's not. We did have another question in the chat from Big Belly Bud 420. They asked, what strands are we growing now? And strands is one of my favorite words, so I'm going to roll with that. What strands are you guys rolling now?
You started, bro.
Yeah, I can go. I'm getting ready to switch into flower. The 6 plants that I picked for flower this run, I have 2 Citral Blue, 1 Crescendo, Big Detroit Energy from Ethos, Sour Melon from Abolish, and the 9-pound from Eagle. I think that adds up to 6 because that's what I'm running. So that's one half of my room, and then the other half will be Sunshine and Haze from Kyle Gardner. I have a couple of those. Then I have a headband and Ice Cream Man cross from Rizo Rich, ICC on Instagram. He's a Dude's Grow Show follower. And then some more Crescendo Citral Blue stuff. And then I have OKC, which is Orange Kush Cake from Ethos, and Sour Strawberry Seeds that I just popped. So those are coming up.
That's hard to follow, man.
That's all from memory.
I'm telling you, yeah, bro. I have, let's see, in flower right now, I have the Keweenaw Copper, I have Queen White Haze, and I have Moby Dick by Kyle Gardner. In veg, I have more Keweenaw Copper, clones of everything that's in flower right now. And I also have Abolished OG. One is going into flower this week, and the clone is doing really well from that now. And I just popped seeds for 2020 Mendocino's Glue Sniffer and World of Seeds, New York 47. I also tried to pop some older beans that I had of, what was it? It's Dynafem White Siberian, but those are looking like they are probably not going to get their game going on. It just means I get to pop some other new shit. So actually, I'm kind of glad.
I love running new genetics. What's everyone else running?
I see Eagle's back. Maybe you can jump in and say how he's growing and what he's growing.
Yeah.
I've been here the whole time. Just my internet's sucking again tonight, and I've been hiding behind my shield trying to save some bandwidth. I grow under a little bit of everything. T5, T5 LEDs. I run under 4,000 watts of HPS, and also flower under LEDs as well. Everything's ran in cocoa. They usually go from 1 gallon to 3 gallons, 10 gallons, running salt. Other than that, strains I'm running currently at the moment, Insane in the Membrane, OGO, Cake Boss, Amy's Acres, Winnie times Challenger Deep, which does not have a name yet, Primal Punch 2, that VH12 from Morningstar, Skunk Punch, Candy Rain, 9-Pound Hammer, Blackberry Frosting, Mendo Local, Primal Punch F1, Beard on Fire, Challenger Deep, Lemon Lava Drop, Jesus Juice, Dominatrix, Blueberry Quintessenta, Blueberry Sativa, Buttercream Haze, and Pine Valley is what I'm working on. I think they catches me up as far as Jeff there.
I can't wait to go back and watch this and see how many seconds it takes you to read your whole list of genetics.
I fell asleep, dreamed a dream, woke back up, watched Kate cough for like 15 seconds.
I can't wait to come visit Eagle now. Holy crap, man. You're like Willy Wonka of clones.
Tell you what, if you get a chance to get the 9-pound, that's some strong shit. That plant looks healthy.
That's a great cut. It really is. It takes just about anything, and it just keeps on going. For as old as that cut is, what, going on 6 to 7 years now? It's pretty. It has great vigor still.
I'm really honored to have it. It's impressive. I have the plants that are ones run from seedling, and they're slower than that one is.
You know, I was looking at some 9-Pound Hammer information the other day, and I can tell you another difference in that cut versus the other cuts. And that cut is Afgoo times Hell's OG, which was the original round, and the new round is Afgoo times Jesus OG. So that's where the new color and stuff comes from. So that's the difference in the cut there.
Interesting. I'll of course never remember to be able to tell people why I have a special version of it, but I can point to this.
Yeah, I'm growing that BH12. That's, I guess, baby Huey autoflower too. It seems to be a real sturdy little plant. It seems to stay kind of short. Well, it's only 2 weeks old right now, so I guess I don't really know. But it stayed fairly short. It hasn't really taken off yet. But Morningstar actually got a hold of me on Instagram and said that it's going to take off. He actually gave me the dates and everything. Like within this week, I think he said day 28, it really takes off and starts to stretch a lot. So look out for that. I don't know how far you are along on that one. And then I'm running a purple micro dot by them. Both of those are in that sip container, but with the Coco Loco. And I got Hydroton in the res. And I don't think I've given them anything but water. I can't remember. I may have sprinkled some insect frass in there. I don't remember. I was hitting everything else in that 10. I'm not sure if I hit those or not. But there's no nutrient deficiencies yet, so I've just given it nothing but water. So far, autoflowers I think are pretty cool, just for something to squeeze out a little flower out of a mother tent. And then in my flower room, I'm really stoked about my pheno hunt plants from 2020 Mendocino. They're looking really good, and so I'm kind of relieved now. I'll have at least a decent entry, hopefully. It's funny to run the second round because the ones that you kind of picked out of the first round, your numbers kind of change. And so I think I'm more undecided after the second round than I am after the first round, which is weird. But I've still got my heart set on the number 6. So right now it's probably going to be my keeper pheno. Everything's looking good in there. And then my other, I just put a quad of Spartan glue in under the light where I found out that the Spectrum King was only half lighting up. So I ripped that Spectrum King out. I put in some supplemental lights. I put in like a couple smaller voltage lights. Yeah, they're both LED. I think it was a closet case, which is 100 water, and then a HLG 65. So that's lighting up a 4x4 right now until I get another light in there. And then the other side is 2 of these, what are they? The berry fingers, they're called, from Michigan Roots 420. I think he's out of Jackson. I met him here one time. And then I also have my headlights that I just got back, my old strain I just got back. And in fact, I just trimmed one up of my first harvest of it. And it is the one for sure. Now that I smoked, I was smoking the whole episode before this. And then my last one in there is I can't remember off the top of my head. Oh, a Primal Punch, I think. But yeah, everything's going good in there right now. I'm really liking the autopot system that I think I've got it figured out, and I'm really excited to see what it does with the plants that I've had for long. I've only ran the pheno hunt plants in there, so I don't really know. I've never ran those before, so I'd like to get some plants I've run before in that system and see how they do.
I want to reiterate the show's support of your pheno hunt plants because Scobo and I were invited to judge, and we get to try these. So the better they are, the better that is for me. So good luck to you and everyone else competing in that.
Well, thank you. I'll take any luck I can get.
To answer you about my autos there, Spartan, I guess what I need to do with some autos is forget everything I ever learned about growing and watch Abolish's show and relearn how to grow them autos because I had horrible luck. I'm ashamed to admit. I actually gave up. I had out of the 6 I planted, I had 5 males and 1 female, and I stunted the shit out of them. And they were stagnant for a while. And now the other one kind of took off, but I gave up on it, and it's kind of sitting in the dark right now.
I think the thing that is the hardest to get over is if you're an established grower is you barely have to feed them. You start feeding them too much, then they stunt. I mean, I'm sure there's differences with different cultivars, but I would start out at the way weekend before I would really push them too hard with nutrients.
I think I started in too big of a pot, trying to, get a big plant right off the bat too. So I put it in a 3, knowing it wasn't going to flower until it hit bottom, and I think it just took forever to hit bottom.
That's actually what you're supposed to do with autos. You're not supposed to put or transplant them, they say. So you probably did the right thing there.
I've done both, and they both worked. So
I think transplanting works fine. The people that like to argue against that, I like to say that if you can't transplant a plant without stressing it, then you probably need some more practice.
I've had some interesting results on it, doing the transplant or going right into the pot, and actually doing a transplant but using a clear cup so you can watch the roots before they hit the bottom has been more effective for me than putting it right into the pot, because I've actually gotten 2 runts out of autos going right into the pot.
I also like using clear cups, and people freak out and they're like, you can't let light get on the roots. And to be perfectly honest, I never cover the roots up, but if you're worried about it, you can just put like a colored cup over the clear cup. But again, like I don't have issues with it. But I like that you can see the roots and see what they're doing and see if you're fucking having water pool up and shit.
yeah, I do the same thing.
I'm an advocate for double cupping, but I don't. I just kind of go by feel on it. I drill some big ass holes in my solo cups though, so when the roots start poking out, I know I'm there.
I love the clear cup. I love the clear cups, and I do double cup them. I put them in.
Got everyone laughing at double cupping, so we got to keep that.
I love the
Hashtag.
double cups.
They'd make a good line of women's t-shirts. Hashtag double cupping t-shirts.
Hashtag gravy.
That's some men's t-shirts.
Don't forget the gravy, baby.
Red showing out that you can use the solo easy swap pots as a cooler cup coolie cup in the summer, or to hide your jar.
Now, Smiley is asking in the chat why you would use the double cup.
Smiley, you would use the double cup so that the roots don't get light exposed to them.
So you put the clear cup, you put your soil or whatever inside of your clear cup, and then put that cup inside of your colored one. So then you can pull the clear one out to see if you have root growth. Old man, are you popping anything new? Did you go over your genetics?
Well, I feel like I've hunted out the garlic cane. I've got 1 keeper pheno, so that's over with, and I'm happy about that. Because good Lord, that was taking up a lot of time. So I popped some Breathtaker, which is also an in-house genetics, some Dolato, and I popped some Jet A recently, which is an exotic genetics. So that'll be cool. And that was actually the very, very first pack of like expensive seeds that I ever bought. And so I've been waiting to get to those. So I popped a couple of those. I've got a couple Fire and Flames. I've got a Lemon Delight. I've got the Glue Sniffers. And I've got some Grand Champagnes from 2020. Super pumped on those. Those are freaking beasts, man. They're growing like I don't know. I'm not gonna say it all like that, but they're pretty big and stocky and like really healthy, man. I'm impressed in veg so far. They're getting away from me, which is, a good sign, I guess. So.
It sounds like you're going to be able to give us cuts when we see you next.
I believe so, yes. Yes, absolutely.
How are your Glue Sniffers? That's the pack that we gave away for the show giveaway.
Those are the ones I was specifically talking about being real stocky. I mean, the fan leaves on them are so disproportionately big, and yet the stalk is also really big. I mean,
hell yeah.
They're big and healthy. I don't know, killing it.
That's
so
great.
I've got 6 of those, of which I'll be flipping at some point pretty soon. their regs. So hopefully I'll get 3-4 females, maybe. I hope. And then we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it sounds a lot like the Pheno Hunt Challenge plants I'm running too. I found the same thing: monster leaves and really thick, like sturdy stalks.
That's my
Like, I
kind
didn't
of
even bother
plant, man.
supporting them until just recently. I mean, I'm like 6 weeks in or something on them, and I just now started supporting them because they were just holding themselves up.
Right. Yep, they're still pretty young, but I tossed them in the big room and into some bigger pots recently, so they'll get bigger faster. It'll be good.
Red, what do you got over there? And if you don't mind, after you get done saying that, what new genetics are you running? I know that you have strawberries and cream.
Let's see. This purple one in my hand is Girls Gone Wild. That's by Costa Farms. It's kind of a throwback by maybe 4 or 5 years or so. Some of the other purples in my garden include DJ Short's Blueberry, a little bit on the blue gray purplish side, or I should say blue silver purplish side. Granddaddy Purples, Deep Purple. I also have Grape Ape, which fades purple. Flow OG, which is something else that I'm back here smoking today, is something that has a tendency to kind of fade purple in the leaves, not so much in the bud structure. That's another one. And then let's see here. Apollo 13, definitely not a purple, but more on the sativa side, is something that I have in rotation. Death Star is something that I keep in rotation, and that's a great hybrid, a little bit sativa heavy, but has a great tendency to knock you out if you really need it to. But definitely great. It's my go-to medicine, basically. Comes around about once a year. Based on rotation and just me trying to dial it in at my new facility right now. So
what's your Death Star like? There's a couple different Death Stars out there.
So mine has kind of like I always say it's like that peppery, like black pepper kind of a terp, but it's not like the cookies black pepper terp, if you know what I mean. It's a little more earthy, skunky, earthy, piney, kind of has a little bit of a piney type of flavor to it. I'd have to say definitely chases maybe like the sour diesel or something like that kind of side of it, but it's definitely got that peppery side. I don't know if you've ever had that one.
Yeah, I definitely have. That's a really
you know
good
what
one.
I'm talking about then? Okay, cool. Right on.
Yeah, I like the peppery ones. Those are kind of my favorites, man. It's that throwback stuff.
Yeah, and that's definitely what that setter hash was made out of, that I tossed samples to all you guys, and that was that same stuff. So I'll have that here in another couple of months, and I can't wait to share it with you guys. It's a wonderful daytime medicine. I have some other good daytimes, which include DJ Short's F13, which is another keeper in the garden. I have 2 phenotypes of that I'm currently battling between. And then I think I said DJ Short's Blueberry. Another daytime is Rosaberry by Second Generation, which is JD Short, DJ Short's son. And Rosaberry is a high CBD. That's the high CBD that I keep in the garden. That's actually like a 2-to-1. It runs like 12% CBD and like 6-7% THC. And it's just a phenomenal daytime smoke. If I'm feeling, like something else might be hitting me a little bit too heavy, I can always go to that and it'll help level me back out. And it also helps mitigate maybe sometimes like cigarette urges and things like that, which is really good. If I feel like I need to really smoke more than one back to back, it's good to maybe toss that one in the mix sometimes. Some of the new genetics that I'm currently running include Grape Glee, which has a wonderful like berry, raspberry, maybe like licorice, strawberry licorice type of a smell, and that one's by Canorado Genetics. I really enjoy that one. I also on that same berry note tone, like you said, Sequence, Exotic Genetics, strawberries and cream. I'm currently pheno hunting, and I think I picked at least as far as the taste buds go and the smell goes, a winner on that. I have to grow it out in production and make sure that it suits my needs, but pheno hunting through some other exotic stuff. Citrique is one. It's from their lemon lime line. It kind of has that like Chernobyl or like sour diesel kind of smell to it, that like lime pine smell, but a little bit denser bud structure, which I really like the way that the exotic genetics plants grow. I like the way that the taproot shoots out of the seed. I like the initial growth of it, and I also like just the overall bud structure stacking is really nice in exotics. I have a couple archive genetics right now going. Hazmat OG is one of them, and Candied Grapes is another one. I have 3 phenos of Candied Grapes. They're not going to be keepers sitting around the garden as of yet, but they're only about halfway through flower. That's based on bud size is really small, structure is really small. All of the smells between all 3 phenotypes seems to be it's either incredibly stable or there's hardly any variance, but there's also I think it's just all like fuel and gas. There's not a lot of other smells to it. So I'm pheno hunting a few other things back and forth, but for the most part, I'm really liking what I see from the Strawberries and Cream is going to stick around from new stuff, and also the Great Glee and the Rainbow Driver is going to stick around. That's an archive one, and that's really like I think like dozy heavy on that one. Really nice gas and nice fuel smell on that one. So I'm probably missing out on a few others, that I have lingering around the garden, but those are the basis of everything I run, which I guess is, now that I think back on it, I've been kind of blabbing for quite a minute. So
that's all right. That's a shitload of strains. When you're running that many strains, how do you pick what to run? Like, how do you pick what new thing to run? Is it just kind of what looks nice, or?
A lot of it has to do with demand. Sometimes it's like what's in season. There's a couple of those strains like the grape.
You got pumpkin spice?
I surprisingly no, but I might as well have a pumpkin spice back here. I'll tell you what. I got just about everything else if you think about it. That Apollo 13 I really like. Is really cheesy. That is probably really good for this time of season. The Death Star is always great to come out around Christmas time because there's always a new Star Wars movie coming out around Christmas time. And then I'm really loving this this like black and orange type of bud for this Halloween season. So I like running stuff seasonal sometimes, but mainly I pick stuff based on patient need, personal need, maybe market need, things like that. And I try to run blocks of like 4 to 8 plants at a time off of each strain. And, I'll either keep moms, or what I'll do is I just put plants in rotation. Sometimes you don't even have to keep moms. You just take clones off of plants before they go into the next flower stage. If you're going to top a plant, just keep that clone back behind. And sometimes I'll run like 1 or 2 plants of certain strains that are just for my personal use. And I know it's not going to be a lot. And then some of the other stuff, it might only run once or twice, and then it's out of the garden sometimes. So a lot of those strains that I said have been around for a really long time. Like the first, I think 6 or 7 strains that I listed off have been in my garden for like 5 years. So those are the ones that are like my keepers for sure. And then like those last few that I'm kind of pheno hunting through, we'll see. I might keep them around for here and there, or I have backups of just about everything. So I'll at least run a backup, and as long as it doesn't hermaphrodite or anything, I'll keep it and see how it works out, and then get rid of it based on how the patients and the market likes it. So. I do want to talk about like something like a real slow, like you guys talked about the Mac earlier, not to drag this on much longer, but like how they run really slow. So what I'll do is I'll make sure that when I'm running perpetuals and things, I'll keep those, like I'll make sure that I know extra time in advance that I need to propagate these like grape apes, because they take an extra 4 to 6 to 8 weeks longer than everything else. So I have those vegging, and I know that they're vegging while other stuff might be continuing going in its normal rotation. So that's kind of how I keep up with some of those, so that I don't just kick them out, because I really enjoy those ones.
Yeah, and I've tried to actually not propagate grape ape. I've tried to germinate grape ape seeds and failed. One of the few seeds that I couldn't pop. But I did want to ask Kate. Kate, what genetics are you running? We haven't gotten to yours yet.
Right now I have Durban Poison, which is my favorite. Then I got Cushman's. What else is in there? Pink Animal Crackers, fucking orange muffins, Tropicana cookies. So a bunch of the shit that I have, it's just like I have it and I don't really like it. You know what I mean? Like it's fine, but like, ugh. I mean, like I fucking hate Tropicana cookies. I'll say that right now. Like it grows like shit. I fucking hate it. Every time I go to water it, I'm like, I want to love you, but I also just want to chop you down and like forget about our sordid history.
That's funny because that's a plant that I want to grow. Just Tropicana cookies.
Shit. Sorry to anybody I'm offending right now, but not really even. Maybe I am just shit at growing it. That's probably the case, but whatever. It doesn't agree with me. But so part of me wants to just pop seeds and pick new things and hang on to like Durban. So I'm like kind of at a crossroads right now with what I have and what I want to keep and what I,
Well, when you think about it, Durban's been around for a long time, and these new hype strains kind of come and go, right? And Durban hasn't gone anywhere, and you have to think that it hasn't gone anywhere for a reason. So when you compare other stuff to it, it makes it hard to keep that stuff.
This is also where we have to go with Abolished in his Spartan kick and shit. Look, just don't take clones off it. If it didn't really impress you and it doesn't really agree with your either environment or your growing style or whatever the case may be, if you're not happy with it, you ran it twice, don't take cuts from it. And that when that opens up, that lets you pop new beans or, get your hands on some new genetics from somebody else and clone, go for it, man. But don't let your garden be like, ugh, fuck it, move on. Right, Abolished?
Yeah, it's just there's not anything in there that I'm like super excited about except the Durban, you know what I mean? So I think that I would rather just, I think it'd be more fun if I was like, oh, there's this new shit, but I'm gonna grow a lot of it to like wash and press. So I have that consideration too, like not necessarily growing to extract because I'm still gonna smoke flour off of it. And to me, growing to extract means that you're gonna pull it 2 weeks early and not take as many fan leaves off, but like during the grow process, but just growing strains that will wash well. Like I know Red, your fucking Girls Gone Wild is super interesting to me because it's so purple and I want to know what that hash looks like when it comes out because I want to make purple hash. And I know that 2022 said that he would like look through some old beans he had and send me stuff that would wash well. So that's super cool.
I did that. I bought by Archive. I bought Dozy Dough, specifically Dozy Dough. I think it was Dozy Dough 22 because in their listing it said it's supposed to be good for washing, bubble hash making, sifting, and things like that. So I like that some of the breeders are including that in the descriptions. I have one phenotype growing and it's not a keeper, but hopefully I'll get something that'll be washable in the future as well. But I like that they're putting stuff out that'll lean you in that direction. What do you want to do with it? Choose this one.
What do you think makes something wash well? Do you think it's like the stalk length or the head size or what?
I think that depends on I think it's all got. Go ahead, Eagle. Why don't you say what you want to say?
Oh, I believe it's head size myself. That's where, everything's developed. That's where everything's at. You can catch a nice big fat trichome head. That's the easiest. The smaller sativa types are nice, but they break up, and you only seem to catch them in the 25 and 45 is my experience. And as far as the purple strains go, I want to throw that out there. Has anybody else washed purple? Because I've never had a very good luck with washing purple. My yields have always been purple strain.
The yields are low, but I've pressed purple. I've pressed purple bud into purple wax, purple rosin.
Oh, sorry. GMO will wash purple.
I washed a fresh round of Granddaddy Purple, and I had a really nice light, like violet almost color hash that came off of it, and I really liked it. I washed some older material that had been in the freezer for a long time, and it was frozen material. It was cured and then frozen material. Okay, so maybe like 1 or 2 weeks cured and then put in the freezer. Sat in the freezer for the better part of the year. And then that actually got mixed in, but when I washed that bit of the purple, it was the same color as it was a darker color than like washing like Death Star, for example, or Apollo, which is really light. But I got a little bit of purple off fresh material.
Is there anyone else that wants to talk about their genetics?
I think I'm the only person that hasn't gone. In one tent, the auto tent, I got 2 different autos going. There's a couple purple microdots from Morningstar Seed Company. And then there's a few Wizard Apprentice from Night Owl Seeds in there. Those are doing really good. Every time I start to talk shit and say, you know, you're not growing fast enough, I go in there the next day, they've grown 6 inches, or the buds have doubled. The other tent that's getting reconstructed just has 1 plant in there right now. It's an Abalist OG that's getting 400 watts all to itself. It's purpling out. It looks really good. I haven't shared any pictures, but I will. And then in the third tent, which I'm getting ready to flip the flower here, that'll be next month's flip, has Grand Champagne from 2020, what you were talking about earlier, dude. I took the clones this week. They blew out root riots. Like, root riots are not an option for that strain. I had to stuff it in the actual fitting in the clone dome to get the plug to stay together. Only one of them fit in there right, and it wasn't easy. I had to use a lot of aloe vera for lube. But after that, there's a row of Abolished OG. And then I have Citro Glue, which I got is Ethos Genetics, which I got from Sequence. And then a Skunk #1, which finally got a female of, and I can't wait to pass out clones to everybody of. And Babel, which is going to be my next CBD project. It's a 1-to-1 from Mantis Genetics.
How's that skunk going? Is it looking good? Is it taking off, or is it struggling?
It's going pretty good. It went nitrogen deficient on me a few times. I just had to I've had to feed that one more Bad Bunny than the other ones. But it was praying even when it was deficient. It's just I've been waiting for it to do its bush out. It's been staying like it's like stacking and staying, you know, just going taller. And I want it to bush out. I can't. I don't like to grow strains like that. But I've topped it, so hopefully it'll do it.
They top it, it should force it to. So our chat's been talking about popping seeds pretty consistently for like the last 20 minutes or so. So I wanted to go into popping seeds if everyone was down. What methods do you guys use to pop seeds? There's a lot of different ones that work.
Right. It seems like chats mainly have been about Herb Natural, which is a product that I use pretty regularly for that. I usually soak them undiluted in herb for like maybe 15 or half hour or whatever. And then I put that, like a little cap full of it, into a solo or whatever I'm going to soak them in overnight. And I do that, dilute it out with water, let it sit for 24 hours, put them in paper towels. They're popped like right away. I toss right in cubes, actually, lame cubes. So, and then into soil. Pretty simple for me.
Yeah, chat was talking a lot about herb, and I've never used herb before. Reg showing off a nice hash bowl there. I usually just put seeds onto a paper towel, and then I put that paper towel on a glass plate, and then I put that inside of a sealed gallon bag, and then I put that on top of my veg lights, and I use that to keep the plate warm enough, but not as warm as a heat mat. And I have really good results germinating seeds that way. I'm actually concerned because I'm getting ready to sell these T5s and buy LED lights for my veg, and I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to learn how to pop seeds.
Look, I'll tell you, this will make you feel a lot better, Sequence. This is my seed popping process. I take some root riot cubes, I put them in some water, squeeze them out just a little bit so they don't have a ton of water in them. I put them in a tray, and I put the seed in that root riot, and I'm done. I don't even wash my hands.
I'm going to need it to be more complicated, or I'm not going to feel like I did a good job.
Right. There's so many less chances to fuck it up doing it like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's got to be a harder way.
Like
I use chopsticks to handle my seeds when they've got tails. I use actually chopsticks so I don't fuck them up.
I was wondering why you had chopsticks in the bathroom at your house.
That's right.
It really is so easy. I mean, I'd either take fresh Coco Loco or reuse Coco Loco, put it in a cup. I don't even put the seed like down in the dirt. I just throw it on there, whatever which way, and I cover it a little bit like as if wind just blew over in nature. And then I'll take a cup with a little bit of holes, with some holes in the bottom, and fill that up with water. So when it waters the seed cup, it's simulating rain. It's real light. And I'll moisten the top of that, and that's it. I'll let it ride.
Yeah, I do check on the seed every day if it looks like that the cube's drying out, and you can tell right away because they change color. You know, they lighten up. If they're starting to look dry, I'll just take one of the pump sprayers and I'll just mist it. I don't pour water on it because that'll get the seed flying all over the place.
Right. In cube weight, right? I mean, I always judge how wet my cube is by its weight. And if you're, doing my initial soak of my cube, and then I'll just shake it. I'll give it one good shake, right? And that'll actually toss out enough of the water that it isn't too wet. And then I spray too. I don't water them directly.
Yeah, I think people try to make it more complicated than it has to be. I mean, even putting the seed in a glass of water, it's going to float usually. And when that happens, you have 50% of your seed not getting touched with moisture. The moisture is what's penetrating the shell of the seed and getting it to open up. That's why those root right cubes. I mean, they were one of those cube technologies was invented by NASA to germinate things in space. So it's because it's a sponge and it holds around. It holds moisture around all the way around the seed. So there's water that can penetrate that seed from every angle, and it's gonna. I don't know, man. I've tried a lot of those ways that you guys are saying, but once I went to just a root right cube that's been, properly moistened, I guess, and just throw it in a tray, it's so easy. I mean,
I love those cubes, man.
Yeah, me too. I use them for cloning too, so I get dual purpose out of them.
Yeah, I always use them so much. I use them a lot for cloning, almost exclusively, and less so for doing seeds. So I should try it more often.
I soak myself. I like to soak them. If they Spartan, if they're floaters after 24 hours, chances are they're done. If they should sink. If you can't push them down, give them a quick push down and they sink to the bottom. If they're still floating 24 hours later, they may not germinate. I like to soak them just because I like to know where I'm at in germination. Before I go to soil or my cocoa, I know exactly how many I've got cracked. I got an idea of the strength of them by the tails they've shot, and then I'll take them from the cup into a solo cup filled probably about halfway full of soil or cocoa, pre-wetted, and then I'll stick my seedling in there and then lightly cover it and throw a bag over it until it pops up again. Once it pops up, I'll call it day one. But I'm also interested, I've heard lately of a couple breeders talking about rolling their seeds on a piece of sandpaper and then rolling them lightly in a microcrysine, excuse me, a little tongue tied there, and then planting them, and they say that great results like that.
Well, I've heard those things too. I haven't tried it myself. What you can do is take some sandpaper and just curl it in like a tube so that the grit's on the inside, and then drop that tube into like a pill container or something. Throw your seeds in there and just shake them. That's like scarification.
Yeah. I do it in a matchbox. I put sandpaper inside of a matchbox and shake it in there.
The idea for that is that the water can penetrate more easily through. And then with the mycorrhizae, that's just trying to get that association with the plant root from the get-go, right at the beginning of the initial taproot. So yeah, I'm sure that's helpful too. But I mean, I just like simple. You know what I mean? I've gotten such great results by just doing, like, I can't tell you the last time. Well, I can. The last time I didn't have a seed pop was when I tried to pop seeds that were gifted to me from my sister that were stored underneath her trailer. So they were old. They're from the 90s. So, yeah, so maybe I should have done something differently there. But on all these seeds that you get nowadays, it seems like they spring out of there. It's like they just, I don't really get low germination rates. So I don't really see why I should complicate things.
Yeah, if there's seeds that don't pop for me using my methods that work for like 95% of seeds, I'm not going to run them.
Eagle, I learned something pretty new. I just watched one of your videos. I think it might have been an older video. It was on germinating a seed, or maybe it was the newest one that you just put. Oh, God, I don't know. I got to do a loop of your videos.
That was the newest one.
And so anyway, you showed a little picture of a seed, and it showed which direction to put the seed down in. And I always thought that it was the other way around, so that it would come out. But what you said totally makes sense, so that it grips and pulls the seed off with it as it comes out. Anybody who's watching, check out Eagle Garden's videos so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. But I'm going to explain it real fast. Basically, the way that I do it, when I plant a seed, it comes out of the soil and I have to shuck the shell off because I put it in the complete opposite way that Eagle suggests to do it. So thanks to Eagle on that. I'm going to start doing it the other way around so that the media shucks the shell for me and I don't have to mess with my fingers.
So you put some tail up?
He puts some, yeah, like tail up, so that when it comes out, it curves down and then causes the shell to get pulled off. So he puts the divot in the seed down. And I used to do it the other way around so that it would open and come up and out. And that's totally the wrong way, because it makes total sense for nature to pull it off and not for me to have to. I'm like, there's no way that I should have to pull out it, because without me or without an external force, the seeds aren't going to, they will sometimes shed their hat, but sometimes they don't. They just end up being this, it looks like a little mushroom or a trichome sitting out of your soil. And it sucks because you just wasted a whole seed, because it's started to turn its first early stage of life in that method. I kind of complicate things when I do seeds. I start them in incubators. Basically, I do clone trays with domes. I put a heat mat underneath it, and everything's got a thermostat hooked up to it, so that the heat mats keep it at a stable temperature between like 70, 72 degrees or so. I'm not really using the humidity dome so much for humidity as I am. I'm going to try to get my humidity with the room environment, but I'm going to use the humidity dome for to make sure that I got adequate whatever temperature. Basically, I'm using the room that I'm vegging in right now. I'm propagating in is the temperatures kind of fluctuate a little more than I'd like them to. So I keep them inside of these little incubators, and I do paper towel method, seeds in the paper towel, and I put them in Ziploc bags, and I label them, and I just leave them in there until they sprout. And then Eagle, I'm gonna start putting them divot down. It's a good method. Outdoors, I just put them right in the ground. I like doing that outdoors, or putting them right in like a media mix inside of like 10 20 cube tray or something. Just put your media in there and stick them right out in the sun June 1st, and then by June 7th go plant them in the ground.
Well, I'm glad you picked up a little bit of tip out of there, and thank you for that plug. I appreciate that for sure.
Yeah, it was really helpful. I enjoyed it.
The drawing is.
I'm gonna have to try that. Yeah, I've never. Obviously, I put them tail down because that's how the roots go down. I'm not stupid, so I'm gonna have to try it the other way.
Are you talking about the point?
Them up a little bit.
Are you talking about the pointed end? Like it's usually a circle with a point. You put the point down. Is that what you're saying?
Like the point
circle
up.
Down, and it'll be up. When it cracks, it'll crack like that. It'll draw the root up and out.
Yeah, I didn't know what you meant by the divot. I didn't know what you were meaning by the divot. So you're meaning the rounded edge down is how you're going. Okay. Yeah, it's the action of the plant like if you ever watch the National Geographic videos or something where you see the plant kind of folds its way out. It doesn't just grow straight up and then sprout. It kind of like folds the way out. Yeah, it's that friction of the soil as it does that motion that it pulls that shell right off.
It's like exactly what was going through my head when I was watching Eagle's video. I was like, yeah, that's exactly the way that it looks like when it's like pinned up against glass, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, when you think about it, it makes sense. Like a lot of these things are common sense once they're explained to you.
Yeah, I thought the way that I did it was common sense. You know, you think that the root would just shoot straight down and the cotyledons would pop the seed off, but it makes more sense that the media pop the seed shell off.
See, the way I always thought about it was I pictured what the seed would look like falling through the air and how it would be oriented. And with a seed that's shaped like that, it's like a water droplet. So it would be like that. So that's how I tried to put them in the ground.
Were you pretty high when you were thinking of the aerodynamics of a seed?
I don't remember.
Train has come off the tracks, folks.
I mean, that's good stuff.
Okay, so I have to say I always popped seeds using like the paper towel method. And then I thought I was real clever when somebody told me that you can like pin the paper or the plastic bag up on a pegboard and then they'll grow directionally. Which is like super fucking smart and does work really well. But then the last time I popped seeds, I had 2 packs from oh my god, I said the name earlier, now I can't think of it. Scapegoat Genetics of Grape Pie times Mac and Moonvest. And I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna put them in soil and like see what happens. And then one day I came downstairs and I had this like, I love cheap shit. So I had gotten this like seed popping tray from St. Vincent's for like 49 cents from like a Goodwill that was like sealed in this shit. So like, but it was open and I didn't have a cover that fit on it. So I come downstairs and my cat's just like laying underneath this tiny light, just fucking on top of all of them. And like one survived and it's like a triploid or whatever. It's got like the 3. So it's like probably not even gonna be anything. It was like so disappointing. And this is the first time that I've like admitted that my cat killed all of them. So
that's a story for my heart right there. Kate, you weren't here then, but we famously interviewed Kyle Gardner from First Class Gardens. He won a cup and we talked him into, whatever. We went to the cup. He gave me a clone. It was really cool. Eagle's actually wearing his shirt right now. But he gave me a clone of Moby Dick. I brought it home and my dog ate it off my counter. The day it was brought home. I was like so happy to have it. Kyle's like, they're for like $25 or $50 a piece or whatever at the cup. And whatever. Yeah, that was a major loss. She's also eaten half of like several veg plants before and stuff like that. So yeah, you're not alone in the animal side of things. Yeah. Even indoors, we run into that shit.
The first time I used fish shit in my plants, my dog dug one up. And I was like, I can't really blame you. Like, that probably smells delicious to you, you fucking gross animal. And also in the chat, thank you to Warlock for saying polyploid, the correct name. Appreciate that. Oh, also, I've like followed Kyle Gardner on Instagram for a while, but I didn't know that he was responsible for Moby Dick. So that's something that I learned tonight. And that's something that that's like a weed that I have seen everywhere. So it's cool as fuck. So good for him.
Well, he's not responsible for the Moby. He's just famous for growing it on our show. That was just a cut that he had. I think that was from Dynafem originally, but he's been growing it for years and years, that same cut. Was that right, Skilbo, Dynafem?
Yeah, they hunted the line and they've held it in perpetuity for a long time. It's the way it had come up in the show was I was like, or no, it wasn't in the show. It was actually at the show. And I had said, he was like, look, you guys can have anything you want. And, everything's cool. And I said, well, what have you had the longest? What's your keeper? He said the Moby. And then it was really cool because the next time I seen him, I seen Dab Smith with him. And I was able to actually get some of the Moby concentrate. That's what I was hitting earlier in the show. And it makes me really happy, but also really sad because mine is getting ready to finish and I love the nose on it and everything else. And Sequence is sitting there going, you fucking dick, you better bring that shit on the 9th.
No, what I was thinking was my Moby's been gone since like a week after that show. So I don't even know what you're talking about. That was really good live rosin that he had made. Or live resin, sorry.
It gets you in the head, man. It's a horsehoof to the head.
Man, every time I took a dab of it, I went and took a nap. That was one of the only concentrates I've had in a while that really got me there, like in a way that other stuff really didn't. Shout out to our boys, Dab Smiths. He's right behind Abolished on his wall, and Kyle Gardner.
We're coming in on the last half hour of the show. So at this point, if anybody in the chat has any questions or anything for anybody in the panel or anything like that, feel free, we'll pick it up and run with it.
I was going to ask the Sequence, did you pull in those plants from outdoor and get them
trimmed?
Yeah,
I did, yeah. Well, I didn't get them trimmed yet.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering if you tried them or anything yet. It's been long.
The Crescendo, one of the plants I pulled in, I've smoked a couple of, but it was too wet to really get a good judge of it. So we'll know later. I'm smoking my original Crescendo now. That stuff's well cured and delicious.
Yeah,
right.
That was one of my favorites.
Did anybody have like a surprise of the season, a strain that surprised them or a pheno or whatever? Like I had a caramello, 3 caramello plants outdoors. One was massive, right? And the other 2 were small. So I cut the really big one, and then I left one of the little ones, and I let it go. I was like, this one's the one I'm going to make my like straight sleepy time hash with, right? Because it washes a little purple too. So I was into it. And that turned out to be like the surprise, super good one. That little outdoor caramello from Delicious Seeds, I've had troubles growing it indoors, but outdoors it did pretty well. So now I don't know if I want to wash it. I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of the direction I was going with Sequence. That's like one of the most fun things for me on outdoor season is to compare a clone that you've grown indoor against the outdoor, because they're always different, always sometimes way different.
Right.
The structure of it was way different. The outdoor one, the bud was a lot more open, almost more airy, or what you would call like, not quite to larf, like you would say indoor, but quite a bit less dense than it was under the LEDs, which I thought was kind of surprising. And then the leaf to calyx ratio was completely different, like a lot more leaves outdoors. And I thought that was really interesting too. And then of course they purpled like crazy outside because of the cold, and the Crescendo has cookies and all of that stuff in there, and they turned really, really purple. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I noticed that with every strain, way more leafy outside, and more, you lose density, but it's kind of on purpose. They're trying not to get rot. You know what I mean? I think with the higher UV and everything else that you're getting from the sun, it's making them do a little more, grow a little more stretchy. But I think it's a benefit to the plant, especially outdoor.
Well, Kyle just popped in here right after we got done talking about him. We have a question in chat from Josh Root. They were asking if anyone has ever experienced chlorine terps, and they would like to obtain a cut with a chlorine profile.
I was picking that up on the dabs that we were getting from Canna Kitten and MI No-Till at I forgot what cup that was, but I don't know if that was just from
Cryocultivation.
But I swear I was tasting it like on the inhale. It reminded me of like walking into a pool that was, I guess, cleaned with some kind of weed product.
It did have it. Well, it's got like that chem. I guess that's probably what they're thinking of, is like that chem flavor that you get in a lot of stuff. That's more old school flavor too. Chem Dog, Chem D, Chem Diesel.
I get that kind of smell and flavor in that Rainbow Driver that I had, which is Sunday Driver times Moonbow by Archive. It was a fem line, and the Moonbow is like Dozy Doe and Skittles, or I don't know, something like that. A couple other lines, and I wonder if that's something in that line too, because it kind of has that bleach, not bleachy, but like chlorine, yeah, like chlorine type smell. Definitely fuely.
So is anyone getting ready to pop seeds or looking for seeds for a certain terpene profile? I'm looking for lemon right now, and like I popped orange seeds looking for that orange. Is anyone on the hunt?
What seeds do you have? Do you have the seeds that are lemony that you have already, or are you looking for a strain you don't even have?
I'm looking for some lemon, kind of. Ethos said the Big Detroit Energy's got lemon and berry, but the orange Kush cake should be orangey. We'll see. The Citro Blue's got some citrus to it, but it's not quite like Tangy is what I would love. Like a nice strong Tangy is what I would love to have.
And see, I want that peppery, that sandalwood, that old school flavor is what I'm looking for. So when Abolish is talking about the skunk #1, my ears perk up.
Yeah, and you're looking
with
for like a haze probably.
Well, I've been running hazes for years. Like not like the haze, but I've ran several different hazes from. Oh man, let me see. I can't even do it. There's just too fucking many. There's more than 8 or 10. I've almost always had one. And I'm almost to the point where I want to step away from that, because a lot of mine have been more of a fruity haze and not like that earthy one. I don't know. That's what I'm looking for.
My experience, them pepper terps that you get from sativa is usually a longer term sativa.
Yeah, I agree.
They are always great for clear-headed. Peppery is always great. A great terp for clear-headed daytime smoke.
It doesn't get any respect anymore, though. Everybody like poo-poos on the pepper, and I'm like, come on, man! Like, you're not really encountering it like that anymore for like the amount of hatred that it seems to get from people.
For me, I'm a heavy smoker, and it gives me fucking anxiety. I can't smoke them peppery strains for one. Second one into it, I've got full out anxiety, and I'm done with it.
Well, that I can understand then.
I know one strain I used to grow with lemon sequence was Vortex out of, it was TGA at the time, but now it's Subcool Seeds. But the Vortex was but it's not like a lemon. It's more like what Lemon Pledge smells like. It's like that lemony cleaner, but it was strong, I thought.
The lemon that Eagle had with the lemon lava drops from Mr. Tight, that was really, really lemony. That's kind of what I'm looking for. Something I smoke, or I'm kind of growing now to have like a buffet of flavor, I think all growers try to do that. And I want really distinct terpenes. I don't want these ones that are kind of in the middle because they yield good and stuff like that. I want like really good lemon, really good orange, really good diesel, that kind of thing. And Eagle really had it with that lemon lava drop, I thought. And I already know he offered me the cut, but Tangy's always been on my radar too, is one that I want to have.
I'm actually looking for 2 really unique profiles that I kind of got to sample over the summer in some of the Judge kits. And on the fruity side, I'd like to get something that's watermelon. And on the funk side, I'm really looking for this. I've smelt it more than once, but it's like it reminds me of a fresh inner tube at a water park. I'd really like to get that. I like offensive and flavors that when people open jars are like, the hell is that?
That's 100 people's dirty ass.
It's that 9-pound hammer is a watermelon, electric watermelon, of the Hell's OG. And it smells like muskmelon when you smoke it. And it has a muskmelon flavor to it. But that thing is a great strain. You'd definitely be interested in that there.
You have that one?
think he's given me the permission to give it to people that are on the panel. So it's around.
That's absolutely correct. Yeah.
Tip
It's a great one. It's a strong knock you in the face strain. And it's what's funny about that, and Sequence has it. He may be able to verify it right quick. If you do a stem rub on that, it smells like butt. It smells like you jammed your finger in your belly button and went, because it's right. It don't smell right at all, but it has great flavor.
It's in a different building, unfortunately, so I can't run right over and do it. But I'm gonna do that tomorrow because that's my favorite smell.
I'm like drooling now.
Tip Top Magoo in the chat brought up a good one for lemon is Lemon Jeffrey from iRegenetics. I've heard, I haven't grown it, but I've heard nothing but good things. In fact,
I would like to try his beans. Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually I have some Orange Gasm, I think it was, and I think that might be the next beans I pop.
I do have some iRead I need to pop. I've got blue raspberry truffle and golden dew.
Dude, those are both nice.
Yeah, so maybe I should pop those and see what I get.
Yeah, I snagged up that Orange Gasm and then his Arise too. I've got both of those.
The Arise is supposed to be slick.
Oh man, I'm all over that Arise for sure.
Hey, Abolished, is it sour melon that's the strain? What did you give me at the whatever the fuck that thing was where I met you guys?
Did I give you seeds? Yeah, I gave you seeds.
No,
It was
like a little nug.
oh yeah, the bud. Yeah, the big bud was sour melon, and then the two other ones were the nutrient test of the OG.
Okay, so the sour melon one, like it takes me, I have to smoke a lot of a strain for me to like remember it. You know what I mean? How some people are like, they can like smell it and they know what it is. Like that is not me at all. But that shit was so good that if I think that I would remember it if I smelled it again. I like loved that. So that's super good. Like I remembered the name of it. So
thank you.
It'll be around. It's the biggest plant that I have because Abaush gave it to me and it was huge when he gave it to me. And I still haven't flipped it yet. So it'll be bigger than a quarter of my my flower net. So there'll be a lot to go around the next time we all see each other. Well, not the next time, but after it's finished for sure. And then we'll have cuts of that.
Yeah, you're welcome to cut anytime. And that strain it's just one of those ones that popped out and it was a keeper right away. So you guys talk about like I am really strict on what I keep around. I'll cut stuff really fast for the smallest things. And I definitely don't like running cuts that have to go 75 days, sometimes longer than that. And I love that strain so much. I make sure I can run that 75 days or longer. It really is. It's like sucking on a warhead candy, if you remember those.
It was a memorable one, like Kate said. When we smoked it, I was really excited to get that cut from you. Sorry, go ahead, Eagle.
I was just going to say that 9 pound, you'd be lucky to push that 50 days before you have to pull her down. It's a quick flip.
Man, I want that like yesterday.
I was thinking 55 in my head. Like if I could find a 55-day blueberry, that'd be really, really fucking nice.
I bet you can find a 55-day blueberry because they lean pretty indica already.
In the chat, somebody who was reminding me, somebody was suggesting in the chat, I can't see it right now because I'm too high, but peanut butter breath, they wanted to try peanut butter breath. If they want to try that, they better get on it because I saw a post, I think yesterday, where he said he's not going to continue that line. So this next seed drop is the last for peanut butter breath. So if something you want, get a hold of it.
I have peanut butter breath.
I saw that too. It's a good strain. It's worth running for sure.
I have a peanut butter breath crossed with super silver haze by Fresh Coast Genetics. Haven't popped them. One of the many, I guess. We'll get to them someday.
I got that collab between Finest and Canorado, the peanut butter souffle, the femme beans. Just haven't popped those yet either.
I bet those are really good. Everything that Canorado does is really quality stuff.
It's like what I'm smoking right now. So I didn't grow this. This is from somebody else. That's what made me think it was like, oh fuck, I still got those beans, man. Damn.
Dude, you're gonna like them. I got 3 of them in flower right now, so I'll make sure to get some snapshots so you can follow along with them. So see how they're doing. They're not keepers, unfortunately, but I'm still gonna grow them out and see what I get.
I'm excited about the glue sniffer we were talking about earlier, man. Like, I used to grow. This is an old strain since this is a Michigan show. I picked up a cut a long ass fucking time ago, and it was called Danny Trevino. Does anybody remember that? And it was like AK-47 crossed with Super Silver Haze. And then he also had another one that was called it was like Blue Danny Trevino or something like that. But that thing was like really, really big, yielded really, really well, and it had the description that you guys are giving me. The glue sniffer is making me think of, you know, what plants I've ran like that, and I like that kind of aggressive growth. I've got the room to run it, so like, I want to get this shit going on mine. I got to throw them in the dirt after we get off the air.
That's the funny thing is, like, everybody warns me about plants like GMO. They're like, oh, that's going to be a really stretchy one. And it's like, bring it on. I got the net. I'll throw that bitch in handcuffs and we're going to yield. You know, that's the kind of plants that we're looking for.
I'll flip you at 18 inches if I really like the smoke. I mean, I'll make it work for my environment.
Okay, so I got a cool story about GMO.
We needed an ISO on that. I'll flip you at 18 inches.
Can I just interject really quickly? This last summer, Danny Trevino went to federal prison for like operating a bunch of illegal dispensaries. So the fact that Sequence, you just referred to trellising as throwing them in handcuffs was like extra
Perfect timing, yeah. Oh yeah.
I didn't know that, so that's good.
Yeah, but I ran it back then. But he had some shit back then too. I think they remember seeing, because I was like, damn, I really want to get a hold of some more of this. You know, I had lost the cut and found out that it was no longer available.
Yeah, he's in jail, bro.
Happens to the best of them.
So we were just in the at work this week. We were in the dry room where all the GMO harvest is hanging, and we bucket off the stems, or at least begin to break it down so it's not one big plant. We put them in totes, and then the lovely ladies who trim will come in and they'll trim it all up for us. I in that room, I don't know how long I was in there, but I had to keep leaving and getting paper towel to blow my nose, and I've never had the reaction like that before. But the GMO just like did it to me. I was in there like sneezing, and so that was a new thing for me. And
that's strong terps, man. Strong terps.
Yeah, something in there my body wasn't liking, or something.
I'll never forget trimming Agent Orange at a commercial dispensary, and I was in a room with a bunch of Agent Orange like you were, like that, and it made my eyes water. And I was like, this is the strongest weed I've ever been around in my entire life. Like, holy shit. You know, and that's when I learned that there was another level to this stuff. That was, you know, prior to me growing, really. I was very new at that and stuff. And I was like, wow, these guys were doing it.
It's cool to be exposed to all the different. That's the coolest thing about me, is us sitting here talking about our genetics and talking about the seeds we have. I could listen to that all day because I'm like addicted to the next strain, and that's what's so cool is that, you know, at work I get exposed to so many more strains that I, you know, haven't grown before. So it's weird to get reactions like that, and, you know, who knows, if I was you know, just growing for myself, I may never have been exposed to that. So it's kind of a cool thing.
Does anyone have anything they want to talk about in the last 10 minutes before we do our final shout outs?
Just that it's been another fun ass show, man. And again, it's hard to stay up on both the chat and the show. I get too high.
Yeah.
I want to shout out Shango Los like I did in the last episode too, but he's got that episode going, Jeff Lowenfels, right now. So if you have any interest in organic farming or growing, they're just little snippets, like maybe, I don't know, 10 minutes long, some of them only. But the number 5 was the one that was mind blowing for me, talking about what he's working on now. So I'm just shouting out that Shango Los YouTube channel.
Yeah, it looks like he's got like 6 out right now, but it looks like it might be like a 10-part series, which is awesome. I haven't started with that one, but I got like the video, I think that's just back further than that one, which is still with Jeff Lowenfels. It's also with Colin Bell and some other guy that I can't quite pronounce his name in my memory right now. But that was a really good one too, so check that one out also. Speaking of Shangolos.
And
I
since
love
we got
Talking about
we all kind of with it. I was gonna say, since we got him in, I just wanted to shout out that don't miss tomorrow. We're gonna be releasing our latest podcast. It's a special late night edition crew sesh. It's really, really good, guys. There's information in there, and I guarantee you will laugh your ass off.
Like always, I'm hilarious. What were you trying to say, Eagle?
Oh, I was just saying, as you guys were talking about strains, I was digging through my case there trying to find Skillbo's blueberry headband. You guys want to peek? You guys want to see the case?
Yeah.
Here. This is for right here. This is the whole thing of your headbands. These are headbands.
Holy shit.
Probably a couple.
Fuck.
That's Skilbo's
This
favorite.
is all.
Holy shit, bro. He's fucking killing it over there. Yeah.
Eagle's got our apocalypse restart kit there.
You ever seen those like tool cribs on wheels?
300 there.
Yeah.
300 different
Hard to
strains.
Wow. Hell yeah.
I like how he's got it portable, man. Always thinking.
I'd like to see what's in that box one time.
I'd be happy to show you.
It's like in the old days when people would go to other people's house and they had a record collection. You always wanted to like thumb through and see what the fuck they listened to and shit. So it's like that.
Well, except in this example, we both have like 50 plus, packs of seeds, and we can trade stuff with each other.
So now it's like, what is it, Yu-Gi-Oh?
Abolish. I don't mean to cut you off. These are some you'd be interested in right here, Abolish. This is marmalade. I believe these are from Nirvana seeds. I'd have to go through my records and check that out. But this is one of the most flavorful fruity strains I've ever grown, and I made sure and kept some. But this strain right here, you can do some research on this marmalade. This is a great strain.
It sounds like it just by the name.
Hell yeah.
Marmalade, it's got a lot to live up to, right?
Oh,
Dude, if you realize
full color and flavor, if you can find it, well, it's right here. It's definitely worth growing.
when Eagle says it's worth looking at, realize this dude has grown hundreds of strains. So you might want to like give a little thought.
Yeah, the packs that Eagles have given me are up high on like when I do my pheno hunt list. Like he's gonna be in the next round here. He's giving me some good stuff.
All right, guys, let's roll into our final shout outs. Red Setter, you're the first person next to me, so you get to go first. Where can everyone find you, my friend?
Let's see, you can find me at Red Setter Farm on Instagram. I'm on Strainly and Cannabis. Feel free to reach out. You want to ask any questions about hydroponics growing, anything like that. And shout out to everybody who tuning in tonight. Shout out to all you guys, and have a great night, everybody.
Old Man Hermit Hash.
You can find me at Old Man Hermit Hash on Instagram or at Gmail if you would like to contact me about hash, whatever questions. I am planning an actual hash making video. It's somewhat in the future, but it's going to be legit, so it's taking time, but it's good. So look forward to that. And I love you guys. I can't wait for Flanks Gimbing. And it's going to be sweet. I've got all some garlic cane that I think Skilbo might like. It's pretty peppery. So, all right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, man. Spartan Grown.
Hey, I just love hanging out with you guys every week. So I want to shout out to each and every one of you. Thanks for hanging out with me, and thanks for chat. I love the chat. I mean, that's half the show right there. I mean, if you're not catching it live, I'm sorry you're missing out. And shout out to Eagle Gardens. I forgot to mention that I popped some blueberry quintessenza because I can't even pronounce the shit. But I popped some. I got 2 of them. They're looking great, and I'm hoping for a female because I already scrapped my CB diesel because I'm just saying no. I'm not even playing around. That stuff's gonna take its spot. So, I love the stuff that you gave me for a sample. So I've already made my mind up on that. I'm just hoping one's a female.
That's Spartan Grown on Instagram. I can't remember if he even said that. Kate, where can they find you?
I'm on Instagram at the Can of Kate. And I just want to say shout out to the chat tonight. Since I finally figured it out, it's pretty cool that people are on there and like asking questions and shit. I like this.
Yeah, it's awesome. Thank you for joining us. Eagle, where can we find you?
You can find me on Mass Roots, Doobie, Cannabis, Social Club, YouTube, and Instagram. Look for me a little bit more on YouTube and Instagram TV with some garden updates. I got a few series in the works. So check that out if you're bored and looking for something to do. Other than that, thank you, panel. It's been great chatting with you guys. Thank you for having me. And everybody in chat, have a great week.
Polish.
Polish Farms. You can find me on IG, YouTube, and wherever you see any of these fine productions from this crew here. And definitely got a shout out to the chat. Everybody out there following the Frugal Force, my Jedi Council, Padawans, the Sith Lords. You guys are awesome every day. I love that chat. Shout out to the beautiful Miss Cantaloupe if I missed her. And yeah.
That's how I knew she was watching them. Scobo?
That's the story. Man, it's always been a good time. And I hope to see everyone again next Sunday.
All right. I wanted to thank everyone on the panel for sharing their Sunday night with us, everyone in the chat for being really lively. If you like the show, tell a friend, please. We can't advertise in any way. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, etc. Have a good night.